there's some people that are like, can we just never talk about it ever again and I'll just pretend. And that's another conflict style. And they're all okay. We just want you guys to be aware of what your style is and how to get towards a healthier, more godlike style where we can actually get rid of conflict. It doesn't have to stay around. So. Any other? Thank you, Apichar. Yeah.
I kind of am more like in between. I like that person that is angry at me to say it out, but in a limit.
They have to have a limit.
Right, like you don't blow it all out. I just want to know what's wrong with you. Like, you know, I just want to know. Like, not like for an hour, like, come on, I already know what I did. Like, I admit that I was wrong. So can we just get it over? Right? Well, like, you don't want to keep like carrying that over and over.
People can't get over it. Yeah.
What is the result of someone like suppression for a long period of time? What's going to happen? What side effect?
Suppress.
It's going to blow out eventually.
Yeah, suppression's not that detrimental to the person, but it will hurt their relationships because eventually they're going to blow. Because they know they're angry. They're just pushing it down. Eventually it's going to come out somewhere. It probably comes out in little ways where they pick on people or criticize people, or it could even come out in just they don't have much patience.
Or just one big...
It might come out just in one big blow.
Yeah, I think it's comparable to a dam.
To a dam, yeah. Yeah, you're...
พอน้ำมันสะสมค่อยๆปล่อยน้ำมันก็ดีแต่พอเขื่อนถ้าเกิดเราเก็บไว้แล้วเขื่อนมันแตกนี่มันท่วมทั้งอยู่
In psychology we call it a pressure cooker. I don't know if you cook with a pressure cooker, but it's just boiling under there and eventually the steam is going to come out. Yeah. So my job as a therapist is to help the steam come out in small amounts before they go back to their family and share so it doesn't come out. Yeah.
I have a question, just like for example, one student sitting in a room, in a classroom, and just pick up the hair, that it just get the whole.
Oh, they're picking their own hair?
Yeah, what's that cause thing?
That's trichotillomania. Have you heard of that? It's a disease where people pick out their own hair or they pick their skin. It's an anxiety disorder. They've got some kind of anxious thing underneath that they probably is suppressed or repressed all the way down. So they're hurting inside, so they want to make themselves hurt on the outside. Does that make sense? Have you heard of kids that cut themselves? It's the same thing. So they're hurting inside, so they want to do something to hurt themselves. Because it actually hurts when you pull out your hair. But for them it feels comforting. That's a very deep question. I've only had like one case of that ever in my practice. It's not very common. Okay, so are we doing all right so far talking about conflict and anger? It's not so bad, huh? The next part is that we do want to talk about our different conflict styles. How each one of you deals with conflict differently. Psychologically and spiritually, they kind of divided it up. This is a Christian who has done this study that we're doing, so that's why Peter has some stuff to add spiritually too. But they've divided it up into 5 different types, and those are on the back of your sheet. And in the box here, they kind of... But we'll, I'm just going to go over those. Okay. And this is Nat, where you want to see, where do I fit in? When I'm angry, when there's conflict, what do I do? And what I love about this is it kind of says a number 4 here, making the most of your conflict style. We don't want to change who you are. God made you who you are. If you're someone who doesn't like conflict, maybe there's a reason from your past or from your personality. If you're someone who likes more conflict, maybe there's a reason, right? So the idea is not to change or say one is wrong, one is right. But the idea is to know what yours is and then know how to use it. Because there are strengths and weaknesses to all of them. And I think that's what's important. So on the back, they talk about yielders. Can you describe that, Somsa? Yielder?
คือผู้ที่ยอมคนหมดยอมจำนนทุกอย่าง
Anyone want to take a guess at what that means? What might a yielder do in conflict? Let's say there's a fight.
Doormat.
What?
Doormat.
Doormat? Okay. What else? a fight between two people, what would a yielder do?
So, I guess I heard his translation, so I would assume that it's the person that like, okay, I'm wrong, like just blame it on me. I don't, yeah, just let it all out on me. I'm curious.
Similar to a doormat, huh? Yeah, the yielder says just to get rid of the conflict, they just say, okay, I'm sorry, it was me. And then the conflict's gone, right? Supposedly.
No.
Supposedly.
No, it's not.
That's the hope. The hope of the yielder is, I'm going to get rid of this, okay? Let's look at the strengths. I don't know if anyone can relate to that one. You don't have to raise your hands, but just be thinking about yourself. The strengths of the yielder, they can be seen as a servant, right? They're kind of saying, the relationship is more important to me than being right. So the relationship is really important. I'm just going to say it's okay. They are giving people usually. They're the ones who are like, okay. And they may even believe they're wrong. A lot of times yielders are like, yeah, I'm wrong. When the other person is the one who's wrong. So they're very giving, sacrificial. They can just say, it doesn't matter what you think, I just want the conflict over. And the willingness to defer. So they're usually the person that's, it's okay if somebody else is right. That doesn't bother me. I can live with that if somebody else is right. So there's some strengths in that, isn't there?
ข้อ3 sacrificial ก็คือยอมสละทุกอย่างต่อให้คนอื่นก็สิ willing to defer คือยอมที่จะผ่อนปลนนะครับ defer คือว่าเอาไว้ทีหลังก็ได้ไม่เป็นไรนะคือเลื่อนไปถอยไปเรื่อยๆนะถอยไปเรื่อยๆมันคือยอมทั้งหมดเลยคือเรื่องนี้คือยังไงก็ได้นะ
And I'm not going to go over all of this for time, but we'll look at some of each. The weaknesses of the yielder, if you can imagine. I mean, sometimes they do become a martyr. Like the one, woe is me, I'm always wrong, everyone picks on me, right? They kind of take on this weak, poor me attitude. They can become passive aggressive. They can say, okay, you're right, there's no conflict, but then later they get back at you in another way. I don't know, burn your dinner. These are the type of people that might like do vandalism. If someone hurts them, they don't go directly to them. They'll, do something to their car. But they also, number 4 is very interesting. There's a fear of rejection. Someone's mad at me, I better make it right quickly because I don't want them to be mad at me. I don't want anyone to be mad at me ever. And this is how I grew up. I was like this growing up. Just always needing to be okay with everybody. So.
It's good and it's bad.
What?
It's good and it's bad.
Right, they're all good and bad, right?
Because if you willing to change yourself all the time, you won't find yourself.
You don't have an identity.
Right.
Yeah. So number 2, I don't know if any of you identify with the yielders yet, if you think you might be that. The next is the withdrawers.
withdraw คือคนที่เราเพิกเฉยนะเพิกเฉยทุกอย่างเพิกถอนทุกอย่าง
These are the people that just don't want to engage in the fight, right? So someone's angry with them, they know they are, and they just go to the other room, or the person's talking at them and they stay silent, and they don't come back. So some of the strengths, this brings relief, right? They don't have to show the anger, they can just sort of say, okay, I don't have to deal with it. One of the huge strengths, I think it's important for everyone to withdraw when it's really heated. Number 2, like it gives people time to cool down, so that's a strength of withdrawing. But a lot of times withdrawers never come back. They go away and then they never come back and deal with it, and that's not okay. And then because they withdraw, they get to deal with themselves first. They get to think it through. They're slower processors sometimes, like I need to process this, while the other person's going crazy, or like I got to deal with this now. And Peter and I tend to have that dynamic. He withdraws and I want to deal with it. So when he goes away, I feel like, whoa, we're not fixing this. Yeah, you can. The weakness of the withdrawer is they avoid problems, right?
Yeah.
And they don't deal with it. Sometimes they lose sleep because it is bothering them, but they just aren't dealing with it.
นอนไม่หลับ
And I'm not going to go through all the rest. You can read those just for time's sake. But let's go on to compromisers. If you look on the front, that's the one in the middle. This is the ideal, right? I don't know how many of us are compromisers all the time.
ปณีประนอม
But this is the ideal. We want to try to get to this or figure out how to do more of compromising. And oh, is it? Oh, I might be wrong. Peter just reminded me. Oh, I'm wrong. Sorry. Compromises are not the ideal. Are you sure, honey?
Yeah. Thought it was.
Okay, let's go through this. Oh yeah, he's right. He's right. I'm not going to get in conflict over that yet. No, let's. Yeah, okay. This is what confuses me because I'm a compromiser. So I thought that was the ideal. we always get in this. I forgot about this. I always think compromising is the best way because everybody gets part of what they want. And he always is like, no, that's not. I'll explain that later because we're going to talk a little bit about our style later. Compromisers, it does sound good. Anyone have an idea of what that means? Compromising.
Yeah, like you. It's kind of like a little bit sense. It's like win-win. Like you come into like come to in the middle ground.
Right.
Like I might have to admit like I'm wrong in a way and accept that the other is right. Even like or even sometimes I have to admit it. I mean, like you're wrong, even though that you're not wrong, but just to get to the common ground, so the problem would be resolved.
Right. Compromising is a win-win where both